guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another meal prep video. So I have a little bit out of practice. It's been a couple weeks since I've meal prepped, just with summer things going on. So here we are back to meal prepping. Of course, we're going to start with our vegetables. I love to get these lettuce heads from Costco, and for me to make them last the longest, I just wrap them in paper towels individually and put them into a Ziploc bag. I don't wash them. I wash them right before I use them, and I just feel like these last the longest. And then of course I need to cut up some cucumbers. I need actually cucumbers for my meal prep, and then also for dinner this week, and then also for snacking. So I got 2 of them. I have been peeling these lately because they just have not, the skins have been terrible. They've been bitter, and I don't know what's going on with English cucumbers. I remember when they used to be so good. I need a zucchini for meal prep, so you'll see that here coming up for one of my dinners this week. I'm going to be using some zucchini, so I'm just chopping that up. You guys know I prep anything I can for dinner to make it easier because I am work outside the home, so it just makes it easier to have some of my dinners prepped as well as lunches and breakfast when I need to. We need celery also for meal prep, and I need some for a dinner tonight. So I'm just going to go ahead and chop that up. I'm going to chop it up into little diced up, and then I'm going to do some celery sticks to have with hummus or with some peanut butter. And then of course we have our green onions. These things were like mammoth green onions. They were huge. I need these for salads and for prep. And then we have our cilantro here. Again, I'll need this for dinner later on in the week, so I wanted to get that ready to go. I needed some red cabbage for a dinner this week, and plus I just love to toss this in my salads. It's just like a little extra crunch. I love purple cabbage. I don't know why I brought out the shredded carrots because I did not need that for a recipe for meal prep. I thought I did, but I'll need it for dinner later on in the week. Speaking of carrots, you guys know I love to get the whole carrots, and I need them 2 ways. I need them, some of them just in coins for a dinner recipe, and then I want to mix them into sticks to have with hummus or with ranch dressing. You guys, I just like to have these on hand to make sure I have some healthy snacks on hand, and I just feel like the whole carrots taste better. I did not prep my strawberries last week, and I did have a bunch of them go bad because if my strawberries are not cut up and prepped, I will not use them. So I wanted to wash those and get those all prepped up and ready to go. I need bell peppers for a few different things this week. So one of them for a dinner, and then I think I needed some for one of my lunch prep. So I'm just going to go ahead and do some in like slices like this, and then some diced up. So I did a half of each, doing in slices, and then a half of it in dices, and then that way I can have it both ways. And if I need to dice up some more, it's easy to dice up the ones that are done in little slices. And I really encourage you to do this every week, to have all your vegetables prepped for your lunches and your dinners, and then you don't have to worry about it. Speaking of prepping things, I was out of my Greek seasoning, and I have 2 Greek meals that I am having this week, and I need to go ahead and make some of my Greek seasoning. So I'm going to show you how I put that together. I do have a video on my channel called DIY Spice Blends, and I show you how to make the Greek seasoning along with some taco seasoning, ranch seasoning, a Cajun seasoning, and I believe one other one. There's 5 different DIY spice blends, so check out that video. Just search for it on my channel. For this Greek seasoning, you're going to need 1.5 tablespoons of oregano. So I just kind of loosely, I'm not like really super precise with this, of course, because we're talking spices here. So 1.5 tablespoons of oregano. We need 1.5 tablespoons of garlic powder. You can usually find these kind of spice blend recipes online, and they're all going to vary a little bit about what's in them, but this just has been my favorite dill one. I can't remember where I found it originally. I want to do 1/2 tablespoon of dill, which I was having some issues because I have those little tops on these things, and they just drive me crazy sometimes. I just need to take all the tops off of them because they just don't work very well. And then we need 1/2 tablespoon of onion powder. This recipe actually calls for onion powder and minced onion. So we also need 1/2 tablespoon of minced onion, sorry. And then we need some parsley, so we're going to do 1/2 tablespoon of dried parsley. Again, we have to deal with that stupid little top, but we're going to get rid of those. And then 1 tablespoon of basil. I would just like left them all off of there when I was putting them together. When I was doing this video, if I was editing and saw how annoyed that I was getting with those things, I probably would just left them all off. And then we need 3/4 of a teaspoon of thyme. I'm not a huge fan of thyme, so I don't put a lot in my seasoning blends, but I do like just a little bit. And then of course we need salt and pepper. So I'm going to do just about 1/2 tablespoon of salt and then a tablespoon of pepper. Now, if you do put any salt and pepper in your seasoning blends, just keep that in mind that when you are using these in recipes that you don't want to add in any extra salt and pepper or very much. You want to just kind of be careful about it. Now, I did order all these jars on Amazon, and I ordered all the labels and stuff on Amazon as well. I'll see if I can find them or ones that are similar and link them down below. And they come with these little funnels, which are just great. And I just have a drawer where I have all of my spices, and I love them. I love to be able to fill them up because you can buy spices in bulk just so much cheaper. I buy them on Thrive Market or I get them at grocery outlet. Okay, so we are going to make some chicken foil pack dinners. This always reminds me of my friend Barrett over at Living Life on Track. She really introduced me to these chicken foil packets. I love them. So the first one we're going to do is going to be kind of like an Italian type of flair. You really can put anything you want in these. Now, I double the veggies when it comes to these. So I kind of went back and forth on, okay, am I going to do sliced bell peppers or diced bell peppers? I decided on the sliced because I need the bell peppers later on in the week for a dinner that I think I need them diced. And then we're going to add in about 1/2 of the zucchini in there. And then we're going to add in all those carrots I cut up. Like I said, I double the veggies. I will have these recipes, of course, linked down below. But I don't follow those when it comes to like how many veggies you need. So like I said, I always just double up on it. And then we are going to add some Brussels sprouts in there. Now these are just kind of the halved Brussels sprouts. If you can find the shaved Brussels sprouts, I do suggest those just because they come out a little bit more crisp, tender. And then I'm using this easy onion mainly because I forgot to cut up some onion. So we're going to use this easy onion as like paste type stuff. And then we're going to use the minced garlic as well. We're just going to put that in there. Now this next thing we're going to use, I found this at grocery outlet. I showed this in one of my videos. This is an Italian urban garlic. Now it only has 40 calories. A tablespoon is a serving, but I used only just probably about 2 teaspoons here. And I'm just going to mix that up. So I'm just going to add a point for this. I believe it's one or 2 points for a tablespoon of this. It does have olive oil in it, but it smelled amazing, and I wanted to find a way to use these spices. I picked up a bunch of them. Check out my grocery haul videos, and you can see where I've picked those up. And then we're going to, of course, add just a little bit of salt in there and also some pepper. And again, you can add whatever veggies you want to add. I'm just going to kind of give that a good stir. But this just smelled so good, that Italian herb seasoning. Oh my goodness, it just smelled so good. You do have to refrigerate this after opening, which is kind of annoying because if you're like me, you don't have a ton of room in your refrigerator. I was kind of hoping they didn't have to be refrigerated. And then I'm going to use some of the sofrita. I can't remember how you pronounce it, but I got this from Trader Joe's. I'm going to put some of that in there. And then now we're going to take a piece of foil about 12 by 18 inches, and we're going to spray it with some cooking spray. And then you're going to lay down your veggies. Now, here's where I changed my mind. I've made these a few different ways. I'm going to make sure I get all of that extra Italian herb on there. I can't tell you guys how good this smelled. It smelled so good. Now, I've made them where I haven't cut up the chicken. And I thought I was going to do this one this way because I plan on making these in the air fryer, which I've never done before, but I did see a recipe for making these in the air fryer. So I had this all ready to go. I went and washed my hands, added on a little bit of that sofrito seasoning, which the bottle is gorgeous on this, you guys. Like, I bought this really for the bottle, but the seasoning is so good. It smells amazing. So then I realized after I got it all wrapped up, I thought, you know what? If I'm going to do this in the air fryer, I think I'm going to go ahead and dice up the chicken. Because when I've made these before, I put them in the oven and they came out really good, having them whole like this. But in the air fryer, I'm just afraid that because it's a little bit smaller and I just don't know, I'm just, still kind of new with using some things in the air fryer, that I decided I unwrapped it again, and then went ahead and diced up the chicken. Then this foil was out of control and I had to get a new piece of foil. This one was just a lot of fun. If you could see like the behind the scenes on this type of stuff, you'd be laughing. But anyway, so you can see here, got a new piece of foil, add it all on there, and it does not look amazing. So when I cook these, what I've read on the recipe for the air fryer, you just cook it at 360 for about 16 to 20 minutes, just of course until your chicken is cooked through and your veggies are nice and tender. So stay tuned for my daily what I eat in a day videos, or maybe what I eat in a week, and I will show you how these turn out in the air fryer, and I will let you know if I plan on making them again that way. So this is the first chicken foil packet, and we are going to make another one. And like I said, this would really just be 0 points if I did not add in that oil in there. Now, next up, we're going to do a barbecue chicken one. This was actually inspired by a Skinny Taste recipe that was also a chicken foil packet recipe. She used drumsticks in hers, but the rest of this recipe is pretty similar. So again, I will have her recipe linked down below. So we are just going to take a bag of mixed vegetables. So this has corn and green beans and peas and carrots. So I'm just going to use about half the bag of this. Again, I like to double up on my veggies. And then I diced up my chicken already because you know what? Diced chicken is the way to go, I think. And then went and washed my hands. So just so you guys know, I'm washing my hands. Sometimes I feel like we have to say that because people just get a little offended if we don't show it on camera. But that means moving our cameras around. So you guys, most of us probably wash our hands. And then we're going to use some smoked paprika. You guys know my love for smoked paprika. It is so good, especially with barbecue sauce. And then I'm going to add in some garlic powder as well. I would say probably, since this is one serving, probably only about a half a teaspoon of the paprika and about a half a teaspoon of the garlic powder. And then, of course, we're going to add in some salt and pepper, just a little bit of that. And then I have this sugar-free sweet and spicy barbecue sauce I needed to use up. So it was perfect because I had this in my refrigerator from last week and needed to use the rest of it. Now, I should have probably measured this out, but you guys, there's only probably just about a quarter cup left, and you can have like 4 or 5 tablespoons of this for 0 points. So was not worried about it. The sweet and spicy is probably one of my favorites. I decided just to use the rest of the zucchini because I had nothing else to use it for. So I just threw that in there because you know what? More veggies is better for us, right? So we're going to go ahead and mix this up with a spoon, and it's that easy. And this one also smelled really good because that smelled of paprika with the barbecue sauce. So good. This time I didn't mess up, so my foil was nice and pretty. So again, we have about a 12 by 18 size piece of foil, spraying with some cooking spray. We're just going to toss this on here, and I'm going to cook it the same way in the air fryer. But these are dinners that are already prepped, ready to go. You guys know I leave my house at 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't get home until about 5 from work. Having these prepped where I especially can just throw this in the air fryer. My husband's allergic to chicken, so I have to make him a separate meal. So this works out perfect that I can make him a separate meal, and then we have dinner on the table a lot quicker. Just knowing I can throw this in the air fryer and then focus on what my husband's having for dinner, get the dogs fed and all of that. But this is already prepped. So already 2 of my dinners for the entire week are ready to go. And that is amazing to me, you guys. It helps me out so much. The next thing we're going to make is for 2 of my lunches this week, and it's going to be a Mediterranean meatball with this yummy Greek salad. Again, this is a Skinny Taste recipe. I fell in love with the recipes this week. I saw so many good ones. So let's go ahead and make the meatballs first. Let me tell you what we're going to put in here. So we have some ground chicken. I believe hers actually may have been turkey, but of course you can use whatever meat you want. So this is a pound of ground chicken. And then we're going to do a 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs. I think hers called for panko. I honestly like all my breadcrumbs in the back of my pantry. And you guys know I hate my pantry. So I just reached for whatever I could get. And that was the breadcrumbs came out first before the panko. Then we're going to do an entire full egg in there. And then next up, I'm just going to add in some minced garlic. Again, I'm just using this squeezed minced garlic, which has become one of my favorite things. This just makes things so much easier, you guys. It really does. And then we're just going to put in a little bit of salt and pepper. I am going to use my Greek seasoning, but because with this meat is so, kind of bland tasting, I wanted to add in just a little bit more salt and pepper with the Greek seasoning mix that we mixed up. Just again, because ground chicken and ground turkey both can be a little bit bland. So I wanted to add in that extra seasoning in that. And that's it. It's just a really simple meatball, but there's so much flavor because of that seasoning. Now I'm just going to go ahead and mix it up. I like to use my little meat chopper first to kind of get those spices incorporated. I feel like it works a lot better than when I just put my hands in there. But then, of course, I'm going to use my hands to mix in the rest, and then we will make our meatballs. Now, this makes 16 meatballs, but I'm only doing 2 servings. So I just did 8 meatballs, and I put the rest of the mixture in the freezer. Then that way I have it ready to go, and I can just go ahead and make up meatballs or ground it up for like a salad or something. I'm putting these in the air fryer. I've never made meatballs in the air fryer before. This goes in the air fryer at 400 for 10 minutes is what the recipe says, but mine took 15, just so you know. We're going to make some of this Trader Joe's couscous, this whole wheat couscous, to go in these bowls. Now this, you just need to mix it up with water, but I like to use broth for this, so I'm going to use some of this Better Than Bouillon. Just going to make it per the package instructions. And we are doing 2 servings. For the little Greek salad to go alongside of this, I'm just putting in some cucumbers here. And then, of course, we're going to add in a little bit of red onion and then some of my favorite cherry tomatoes. These are those ruby red ones from Fred Meyer. These ones or the flavor bombs from Safeway are amazing. I just like any of the cherry tomatoes that are on the vine still because I just feel like they taste just like right out of somebody's garden. They're so good. So we're just going to mix that around, and then we are going to add in, of course, some of our Greek seasoning. You can see I've already used so much of this in this meal prep, but that's why I wanted to go ahead and just mix it all up rather than doing the individual seasonings. It just makes it, I mean, it didn't take us long to mix that up, and now we're using the heck out of it. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of lemon juice just to kind of make the salad taste fresh. Again, this was all part of that recipe. I think I pretty much did this recipe 100%, which is not like me, as you guys know. But it just, the whole recipe sounded so, so good. So we're going to go ahead and set this aside. My couscous is done and my meatballs are done. So we're going to start assembling the meal prep bowls. So I have my couscous in there and I'm just going to add my meatballs on there. Again, mine took about 20 minutes, but I think chicken takes maybe a little bit longer than ground turkey. But I loved how these turned out of the air fryer, you guys. They were perfect. I did turn them about halfway through, and they just came out so good. But definitely check your air fryer when you go to make these. And then we're just going to add the little salad on the side. And this is just going to be like a nice little fresh salad. And I'll eat the meatballs cold and the couscous cold. I don't mind those kind of things cold. But you could easily put your salad on the side and then heat up your meatballs. But again, like for me, it's not a big deal. I don't mind them cold. And then we are going to add in a little bit of tzatziki sauce. You guys know that this is like my favorite from Boar's Head. It's a little bit spendy, but it's a Greek yogurt base tzatziki, and it's just so good. The Boar's Head stuff is such high quality. I've just fallen in love with all of those. And so I'm just putting them in little containers there, and here we go. So this is going to be 2 of my lunches for the week. Again, you guys know I work outside the home, and so it just makes it so much easier to have these. I can just grab them, throw them in my lunch bag, take them to work, or I can come home and grab one and eat at home. The last 2 things we're going to make, last one thing, but 2 different servings is going to be a buffalo chicken pasta that again will be for another 2 of my lunches this week. And this is a super easy recipe. I can't remember who it's from, but again, I will have that recipe linked down below. We are going to go ahead and put together the bowl here. So we have our celery, and then I already made the pasta ahead of time. I'm just using this protein rotini pasta. I just have 2 servings, which is actually quite a bit of pasta. So I did 2 servings here. There's 2 ounces dry is what I, for each serving. So I weighed out 4 ounces dry before I cooked it. And then we have our cherry tomatoes. We have our onions. So again, we had all this already prepped ahead of time, which made life so much easier. We're going to make the dressing, which as I was making this dressing, I realized, I forgot to half the dressing because this was for 4 servings. So this was a 1/4 cup of the Bolthouse Ranch, and then we did 3/4 cup of the buffalo wing sauce. That would be for 4 servings. So I'm just going to put this in the refrigerator and maybe make like a salad later in the week or something. But definitely if you're just making 2 servings, half the recipe. Don't do what I did, but you'll see I didn't use the whole thing. But that's it. You just kind of mix it up. Now, this does make us pretty high sodium, so keep that in mind. The buffalo sauce has a lot of sodium, and I'm pretty sure the Bolthouse Ranch dressing has a lot of sodium. So you'll see that I did not put any seasoning, any salt or anything in the rest of the recipe because I feel like this is quite enough of that. So I just am a little bit conscientious of that. And then for the chicken in this, I am using the Tyson's blackened chicken strips, which are 0 points. Love these. I buy them all the time. So I already had that cooked in the microwave ahead of time. And we are just going to go ahead and add that to our bowl here. I ended up actually changing to a larger bowl, as you can see, because I could not mix everything in that bowl. And this is only 2 servings. This is such a huge amount of food. Now I have some blue cheese crumbles here, and I weighed out 2 servings of that, which was 56 grams. I believe this is 3 or 4 points for this, or maybe 5 points, but it's so worth it for the cheese I'm talking. I think the protein pasta is 4 points. And then, so the only thing we are really actually counting in here is the pasta, which is 4 points, and the blue cheese crumbles, I believe, are 3 or 4 points. And then I think it'll probably be about 2 points for the dressing by the time we're done with it, because again, I only used half of that, which is 1/8 of a cup, which is actually 2 tablespoons. So technically, it may only be 1 point for the dressing. I don't know. I will put it in my tracker, and it will be at the end of the video, and you can see exactly how many points, calories, and all of that, everything is. But as you can see here, I just used half of the dressing, and then I went ahead and poured them in my meal prep containers, and that is my second lunch for the week, you guys. Now, I will have my whole meal plan linked down below where you can click on it into a Google Docs. And you also will see all these recipes linked down below as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video. So watch out for my videos this next week, and you can see how all these dinners and everything come together. Bye, guys.